Once the light hits the set, it bounces off the set, and the first thing it encounters on its way to my little babies, the cameras, is the filter and the matte box. And that brings me to the Pro Camera Accessories, a line of products we have, and the newest product there is the Studio Matte Box 1, which has some very, very cool detail features, but the most wonderful thing about it is the whole matte box can tilt, which allows you to avoid unwanted reflections inside the matte box. Once we pass the filters, we move on to the lenses. And by this mountain of lenses here, you can tell that we have 1 or 2 lenses in the program at ARRI. There are the Ultra Primes, we have the Master Primes, very popular lenses. We just introduced the Master Anamorphics, and the first Master Anamorphics are out there and are working. And I know there's even some cinematographers in the room right now who are working as we speak with the Master Primes, Master Anamorphics. And we also have the Allura zooms, which I'm starting to see more and more on the sets. It took them a little while to get accepted, but I think now they're very well accepted, and I'm seeing them more and more. The one lens I would like to talk a little bit more about, though, is a new lens, the ultra-wide zoom. This is a lens that is very unique. There's nothing like it anywhere else in the world. And the reason is, there are a number of reasons. One, it's a unique focal range, 9.5 to 18 millimeter. There's nothing like that out there in the world. Number 2, it has a very large image circle, so you can shoot very easily, even open gate, ARRI RAW open gate with this lens, and that solves the wide-angle lens issue that you've had with open gate for a while. The next issue is this lens has a really, really stunning optical quality. The MTF, the sharpness, is really exceptional because we're using a very novel lens design. And then last but not least, it's a rectilinear design, which is very similar to our Ultra Prime 8R, which means that straight lines in reality stay straight in the image. They're not curved like you normally would get with wide-angle lenses. All right, now once you have a lens, you also want to control the lens, and you want to control the camera, and we have something, oh, I'm sorry, jumped a little ahead here. I have some moving images to show you of the ultra-wide zoom, because I can talk a lot here. The proof is in the eating of the pudding, as the Brits say, which means take a look at the images. So if we could run the ultra-wide zoom show reel. Before we do that though, this was shot by cinematographer Bill Bennett using an Alexa XT in ARRI RAW 4:3 with the ultra-wide zoom and a helicopter. So please run the ultra-wide zoom reel. Through the lens, and as I said earlier, you want to control the lens, you want to control the camera. We also have products for that. This is a line of products we call the electronic control system. It used to be called the wireless remote system, but we've renamed it to make 2 points. First, this will work with ARRI cameras, great, but it'll also work with third-party cameras. And the second point is you can control the lens with this, but you can also control the cameras, ARRI and third-party. If you have a second, come to the booth, take a look at this. We've taken great steps forward in integrating all of this, so it's a wonderful solution for remote lens and camera control. And now we finally get to the part that I personally love, have a great passion for, which is the cameras. And I'll start with the AMIRA. AMIRA is a relatively new camera we have. We are shipping AMIRAs now. The first cameras have gone out the door. We have a huge demand for AMIRAs, which makes us, of course, very happy, but the guys in manufacturing sweat quite a bit, and they're cranking them out as fast as they can. In fact, and this is very unusual in Germany, we're talking about working on Saturdays. Germans don't like that, the unions don't like that, but we have such a demand, and we want to fulfill the demand. We want to get the AMIRAs in your hand that we're even considering this really amazing step. Now, the AMIRA has an image quality just like the Alexa. It uses the same sensor and the same color processing science as the Alexa, but it has different ergonomics. It's designed for single person operation in a documentary style application. And as I said, the first AMIRAs are out there, and we've gotten the first feedback, which is very positive, and we've even gotten some footage. So I'd like to show you some of the first projects that have been done with the AMIRA, just to get an idea of the range of projects that are being done with the AMIRA. So if we could run the AMIRA showreel now, thank you.
We have many players. Whenever you come there, you have about 250, sometimes 300 people. And it's a good person. Nice shot. You respect, which means you want to say, why pass. Not all of them will be a professional player. Some will be, some will not. I don't teach them only football. I'll teach them what to do in life so that you can be a responsible person.
Welcome to the Great Jeep Road Trip. Today we are going river boating. Right, how's that for you? Let's go! Thames Barrier, here we go! Right, check this out. The Thames Barrier. It was opened by the Queen in 1984. You're very lucky to actually see one of the barriers there halfway up. Wow, check that out. Hiding in the mist here in deepest, darkest Wiltshire, the old Wardour Castle. It's over 600 years old and it's withstood sieges and explosions, but today, the toughest one, it's got to withstand me, as I'm here to do some archery. Hi, Heath, how you doing?
Hello, Tim. Nice to meet you. I hear you'd like to do some shooting.
What's this?
basically you just got to go and rock up on somewhere and just start playing, and it's quite a, you've got to perform, and you've got to love doing what you're doing.
Now, the latest feature we have announced about 2 weeks ago for the AMIRA is the AMIRA ProRes UHD. Now, here we are taking a sensor area that's larger than the sensor area we're using for ProRes high definition, ProRes HD, and in camera we're upscaling it to UHD and then recording that as ProRes UHD onto the CFast 2.0 card. So once that feature is available in the AMIRA, you'll be able to record ProRes UHD directly inside the AMIRA. I think that's very exciting. Now, to chat with somebody who's already shot with the AMIRA, I would like to ask Sue Gibson to come on stage now. Sue Gibson is a freelance camera woman working in natural history, live television, observational documentaries, magazine formats, drama, and children's television. She was nominated for an Emmy Award in 2013 for her efforts on the BBC's Wild Arabia, congratulations, and which recently utilized the ARRI Alexa cameras and also operated the ARRI AMIRA on more recent BBC natural history shoot. Now, let's start with what you've, use one of these. We'll use the white one. Okay, now let's start with what you've recently worked on with the AMIRA. That was BBC One Planet, is that correct?
Yeah, it's one of the BBC Natural History Unit's latest major landmark series. One Planet's just a working title at the moment, but it's 6 episodes based on different habitats, and I've had the lucky opportunity to work on the mountains episode and the grasslands one, where we shot a lot of the test footage with the AMIRA for this.
Okay, and now in my background is in scripted drama. How does nature documentary work? What's your relationship with the director? Can he always be right next to you and tell you shoot that line or shoot that line?
No, not always. I mean, the way it worked with the Mara, where we shot a lot of that, was sometimes the director would be in the car with me because we have a specially adapted filming car, which I sit at the back in and film from, and sometimes the director's there and giving me an idea of what he or she wants filming.
But I actually think we may have a slide here of that.
Yeah, that's
you right there in the car.
Yeah, so they've taken the back door off and specially adapted a seating area which hangs off the side, so you can get pretty close to the animals, and the lions do walk just up to the car a lot of the time. But yeah, it's often you're making creative decisions on your own because the director isn't always with you, so yeah.
Okay, and for nature documentaries, what are the requirements for a camera? What would you see in your ideal camera?
You just want something that's very reliable, because often you're going to be out in the sticks and you can't have something going down, so that's very, very important. We shoot a lot of off-speed, so being able to access that easily in the menu system is good, because I just don't want to be hunting around if I decide to change frame rate. The lions aren't going to wait for me. So it's good to be able to have that easy to hand. Pre-roll is often pretty important because you'll be waiting for behaviour to happen, and unless you've got it on pre-roll, you can so often miss it.
And I understand we'll have that with software 1.1 with the AMIRA,
Yep,
so that'll come.
I've seen it already on
okay.
there, so that's great. I'm trying to think what else. We just, yeah.
In terms of the image quality?
Oh, obviously image quality, yeah. Dynamic range, because I'm not in control of the light, because I'm filming in natural light, a lot of the time behaviour happens at the beginning of the day, like just after sunrise or just as the sun is setting, so you need that dynamic range to be able to capture that behaviour and keep your detail as well.
And I believe we also have some more footage. If we could just play the footage in the background, that would be great. Now, I understand you've also worked at another production, or actually, let's look at this. The one thing I've always wondered is, there's going to be a shot of some lions there. And how does this work? Do you like hide behind a bush and wait all day there for the lions, or do you drive by and say, hey, look, there are the lions, let's get them?
Basically, if you're planning to go and shoot lions, you'll have had some spotters go out to find out where the pride are hanging out. And you'll travel out before sunrise in the specially adapted filming car. And once you find them, you do just sit with them. They're pretty bomb-proof. They're habituated. They're so used to safari vehicles coming past them all the time. And so it's a complete delight. They may not be doing anything, but you just sit there, observe them. Obviously, you would love them to do the behaviour in the best possible light, and a lot of the time they do oblige, because a lot of the behaviour happens at either end of the day.
Yeah.
Those guys, I think, were, dusk time. I think there was a shot in the previous video, I don't know if it's in this, of the four...
The yawning.
The yawning. I mean, that was just near the end of the day, and obviously we needed the best dynamic range.
Oh, that's also got the best light. It's golden now, it's perfect.
It's beautiful. So to be able to capture that and keep detail is a real bonus. Yeah, it's just great seeing it on the big screen. It's a little bit of focus issue there, but that's because I wasn't expecting that to happen. They'd actually, that pride of lions had actually just already killed a zebra, and we rocked up to that a little bit too late to see that kill.
Yeah.
So we were just sat there observing what was going on. And the next thing I knew, she was up, ready to hunt again, which I just didn't realise was going to happen, so it was quick.
Dessert.
Yeah. Thank you. She didn't get it that time, but yeah.
Now, this obviously is being shot with a very long lens, I would assume.
Yeah. I was shooting, you need the longest lens possible. I mean, we were shooting on HJ18s, which are it's the go-to lens generally for behaviour and wildlife. But we also used PL mount lenses too. And I used mostly that in my last shoot in Japan, actually.
Okay.
Which, it complements the AMIRA so well, because I think you're putting one of the PL lenses, the cine ones are generally the nicer lenses to put on the AMIRA. And when you're shooting at either end of the day, it's just, it's great with backlit. I was shooting on a little island off the northeast coast of Taiwan. It was actually a Japanese island, and I was shooting probably about at 8 p.m, just as the sun was setting, backlit crabs walking along rocks with the ocean in the background, and it performed brilliantly.
Was there any kind of shot where you said that was a really particularly great shot, or anything really scary that you've experienced?
Nothing really scary. I mean, the lions do come close, but they're not really going to do anything. But I really enjoyed filming these guys because they're so characterful, and to be able to shoot them so easily at 200 frames, I just think really kind of shows them off very well. The bulk of them and the intensity of the flies. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Sue.
No problem. Thanks for having me.